You know, we all think of Google as our go-to for, well, everything. Recipes, movie times, random facts. But that simple search bar hides an incredible power. It's a massive indexing machine that, if you know how to ask, can uncover secrets people never, ever meant for us to find. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something called Google Dorking.
So let's just chew on that for a second. What if its real power isn't just finding what you're looking for, but finding what someone else is trying to hide? And look, this isn't some shady, back alley version of Google. We're talking about the regular search engine you use every day, but with a bit of know-how, you can turn it into a tool that unearths the internet's accidental confessions.
So what is Google Dorking really? Well, the most important thing to get here is that this is not hacking, not even close. Google is just doing its job, and it does its job incredibly well. It crawls the web and indexes everything it can see. The problem isn't Google. The problem is us. It's all the misconfigured servers and forgotten files just left wide open for Google's little spiders to find, catalog, and then serve up to anyone who asks the right way.
And in the security world, there's actually a name for the person who makes this kind of mistake, a Google dork. It's this kind of funny, almost affectionate term for someone who just accidentally leaves the digital front door wide open. So let's take a look at what kind of stuff these accidental confessions actually reveal.
Okay, first up, we're starting with the basics. Think of this as the digital version of leaving your personal diary on a park bench. This is the everyday clutter, the forgotten notes, and even private chats that get accidentally swept into the public eye. What's so wild is how normal this stuff seems at first. You find an Apache server manual? Okay, that tells you an admin probably set things up in a rush. But then you find old ICQ or chat logs, and suddenly, private conversations are public reading material. And these dead.letter files, wow. Those are basically unsent, unfinished emails full of half-formed thoughts and sometimes really sensitive stuff just sitting out there for anyone to find. And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? This isn't just about messy digital housekeeping. These are little pieces of our lives, our work, our private thoughts, all indexed and searchable. What seems like a harmless, forgotten file can actually expose internal company drama, personal details, you name it. So if that first part was like finding a diary, this next level is like finding the blueprints to the entire building. Now we're talking about information that doesn't just expose people, it exposes the inner workings of the systems themselves. The risk gets a lot higher here. Okay, check this out. You find a ganglia report, and suddenly you have a map of a company's entire server cluster. You find a robots.txt file, which is meant to tell search engines what not to index, and ironically, it becomes a perfect roadmap to a site's most sensitive areas. But the real goldmine? It's often a phpinfo.php page. It's just a simple diagnostic script for developers, but if they forget to delete it, it's a complete profile of the system, software versions, file paths, everything. So, you might be thinking, how does this actually turn into a real problem? It's a scarily simple three-step process. Step 1, use Google Dorking to find all that server info. Step 2, take that info, like the exact software version, and see if it has any known security holes. And step 3, you just go find a ready-made exploit for that specific weakness. The Google Dork has basically done all the hard recon work for the bad guys. This quote really just captures the feeling perfectly. It's this mix of awe and total disbelief at how much information is being given away for free. It's literally everything an attacker could possibly want to know served up on a silver platter. And that brings us to the main event, the absolute worst case scenario. This is where a simple mistake turns into a complete disaster. We're talking about finding the actual keys to the digital kingdom, usernames and passwords just sitting out in the open. I mean, forget blueprints. This is the master key. Getting your hands on login credentials can lead to a total system takeover, massive data theft, identity fraud, you name it. This is the absolute jackpot.
And just look at all the different ways this can happen. We're not just talking about a file called passwords.txt. You can find .ht passwords files with weakly protected web passwords, config.php files that might have database passwords right there in plain text, even secring.skr files, which are people's private PGP encryption keys, or just entire database backups. It's unbelievable.
This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? This is the number one, biggest, most preventable mistake anyone can make. Seriously, it's the digital version of writing your PIN on your debit card with a Sharpie.
And hey, don't get a false sense of security thinking, oh, but the passwords are hashed or encrypted. As the source material so beautifully puts it, a weak password hash is barely a speed bump for a modern password cracker. It's just a funny reminder that real security needs layers, not just one flimsy lock.
All right, so we've seen how bad it can get, from embarrassing little notes to full-blown catastrophe. But what does it all mean? Who's actually at fault here, and what are the big lessons we should all walk away with?
This is the million-dollar question, right? Is Google the bad guy for being so good at searching, or does the blame fall somewhere else?
At the end of the day, it really comes down to this. Think of Google as a librarian. A librarian's job is to organize all the books on the public shelves. They don't decide what books get put there. The responsibility, 100%, falls on human error. It's on the people who accidentally leave their private, sensitive documents on those public shelves in the first place.
Okay, so let's wrap this up with the most important stuff to remember. First, Google Dorking isn't a hack. It's just a really, really smart search. Second, these leaks are almost always caused by simple human mistakes. Third, the range of what you can find is just staggering, from kind of embarrassing to totally catastrophic. And finally, what this all means is that good digital hygiene, cleaning up old files, properly securing your servers, it's not just a good idea, it's absolutely critical for everyone.
And that leaves us with one last, kind of sobering thought to take with you. Every single one of us online, every website, every server, we all cast a digital shadow. So it's worth asking yourself, what secrets is your shadow telling the world? Thanks for joining this explainer.